Hey everybody, today is June 25th, 2024, and today we're going to talk about the price of Bitcoin, and we're going to talk about where I think the price is going for the month of July. Before we begin, please read the disclaimer. You can pause the video as you read it. Okay, so where we left off last time was around here, right? And it basically said that this Fibonacci line is really important, and we have to hold this level. If we don't hold this level, I think we're going to come down and retest this Fibonacci support level, along with the 200-day moving average, right? That was over here. Now, if we were able to hold this level, I think that was very bullish, because if we just zoom out, we'll see that this Fibonacci level coincides with the previous all-time high, around 70,000, right? Let's get a clean chart over here. So you can see that in our last cycle top, around 2021, we had a double top, right? And this is usually a very bearish sign. When we have a double top and it fails to break up the second time, it usually leads to like a huge plunge, right? And that's what we saw in the 2022 bear market, right? About 77% correction, right? And now we're back at the previous all-time high. And of course, this is going to be very strong resistance. And so again, we're having trouble breaking through. But this sort of reminds me of what we saw in the summer of last year, right? Where we had this huge impulse move up and then we moved sideways for a while. And now we're seeing another thing similar, huge impulse move up sideways, right? And why was it the case last time? Because we also had a strong resistance at 30,000, right? Why is 30,000 strong resistance? Because last time, in the last cycle, we came down and we held it as support, right? And then we finally broke through in the 2022 bear market and we plunged all the way down to 15,000, right? Basically cut in half. And now we came up in 2023 and we had some trouble moving sideways. We basically moved sideways for like 6 months, right? Trying to break through 30,000, and we finally did, and it was this huge rip up higher. And now I think we're having something similar, where now we're coming up, and we're basically at the 70,000 level, which is our previous all-time high. And I think we're just gonna go sideways for a while, absorb the supply from the bears, and then push up higher. So I talked about this in previous videos, that this could be a certain scenario if we're unable to break through 70,000. But just going sideways and going up higher is actually bullish, because what it is a more stable uptrend in this overall bigger cycle that could go parabolic next year. But it also means that we're building a level of support. By absorbing all this supply, it actually makes I think that that's going to make the ultimate peak in 2025, if you believe in the 4-year cycle, right? I think that's going to make the ultimate peak a lot higher, because last cycle, I think we just ripped up too quickly, right? As you can see, compared to the 2017 cycle, where we built a base of support and we just slowly became more parabolic, and we ended up going higher on a percentage basis. The last cycle, we went up, consolidated, and then went up a little too quickly, and then I think that's why we peaked. Everybody was expecting 100,000 plus, right? But this time we're seeing a very similar trend that we saw. And I talk about this on my Twitter or x.com page. You can follow me at EddieLux_, EDDYLUXE_. It's my pin post right now. And I talked about how I think this cycle is going to seems very similar to what we saw in 2017, where we're basically building a slower but stronger base of support before going more parabolic into 2025, which I believe is going to be equivalent to 2017, right? We would just go parabolic, right? Whereas last time, like I said, we had more of an impulse sideways and impulse moves, which I think prematurely peaked before 100,000, right? Which everyone expected. So I think this time it looks more similar to the 2016-2017 run. But yeah, just let's look at the daily chart, and we'll see that this sideways movement, right? I said it looks very similar to what we saw last summer, right? Where we basically went sideways, and so we just kind of look. Let me just get you a cleaner chart. We kind of just moved sideways for like 6 months, right? Where we had resistance around 30,000, but sorry, but we had strong support around 25,000, right? And we came down twice to hold, touch, and hold. And I think that's something similar happening now, right? Where we touched twice here, and we also coming down twice. So if this looks similar to the last cycle, this could be like the second time we come down and touch and hold, right? Which means that we might actually move sideways for a while before coming back up. But I think that if we do come back up, right, and test the 70,000 level, I think this time we're gonna break, and that coincides perfectly, right? This is around like 1, 2, 3. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would mean that if we have something similar where we had 6 months of sideways, right? In 2023, that would mean that around September or fall, we were gonna have the breakout above 70,000 into price discovery, right? And that generally lines up with the 4-year cycle around, we tend to have a big move. Like in 2020, we had the big move in October, right? And we also had a big move in September, October of here. Yeah, in the fall. So in the fall of the year before the parabolic run, right, 2016, we tend to have a big move, and then we had the parabolic run, right? Big move here in late 2020 into the top in 2021. And so this coincides going sideways and then a big move near the end of this year into 2025 parabolic move. So that's what I'm seeing, and things line up perfectly, right? Like if you look at like the S&P right now, and it's a strong bullish trend, which is great tailwinds for the Bitcoin market because Bitcoin tends to follow like the traditional markets. We're also seeing another tailwind is we're seeing the trend of inflation starting to come down, right? And that is bullish for the market because this increases the chance of rate cuts, which we haven't had any rate cuts this year. Like people are talking about how we're gonna have like multiple rate cuts, 5 or 6 rate cuts, but we haven't had any this year because of course inflation creeped up earlier this year, right? Unexpectedly, but now it's coming down, and hopefully this is able to become a trend. And we'll find out by July 11th when the next CPI report comes out, and hopefully by September or somewhere in the fall we'll start to get rate cuts, right? And that's gonna be very bullish for the market. Now let's look at some of these models that predicts where Bitcoin could end up. Right now we're in the middle, which is basically where we want to see for a strong bullish trend. I've been making videos since we were below this green. If you just look back last year in my videos, I say multiple times that below this green line, again, I don't give financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy or anything, but for me personally, I've been buying a lot, and I basically said like I've been buying a lot below this green line. This is usually where historically it's undervalued, right? Oversold. And once we hit this orange red line, that's when you want to think about taking some profits, right? But we're in the middle, so this coincides with what I talked about, how we're somewhere similar to like 2016, right? Where we're in the middle, we're having this nice, controlled, stable rise, nothing too parabolic yet, that could slowly become more parabolic like 2017, right? Again, things looking really good. Pi cycle top indicator, right? This looks very similar to what we saw last year, where we sort of like we started to hit the support area, the orange area. You see how we're sort of dip below this orange area. We're dipping below the orange area now, and as long as we're able to hold the orange level, we probably will go up higher, right? But it also looks very similar to here, 2016. Again, very similar to 2016, where we basically hit the top over here. So this looks very similar to June of 2016, where we hit the green area resistance, and then we came down to retest this orange line, held it, and went up and became parabolic, right? Same thing here. We came up, hit the green line of resistance. Now we're coming down orange line. As long as we hold this as support, it hasn't officially held yet, but we're trying to hold, right? If we hold this level support around 60,000, this should look very similar to this when we rip up higher. Golden ratio multiplier, right? Looking very similar to what we saw in late 2016, early 2017, right? Where we're still in a strong bullish trend, and we haven't broken above. Once we break above this red line, that's when we tend to go parabolic. But right now, it's looking very good. Cycle master, again, in the middle of the trend, right? It hasn't officially become overbought yet when it hits the red line yet. It hasn't hit that red line yet, so we're still in a good area where this is very similar to what we saw in November 2020 or again early 2017 or late 2016, right? In between the purple and orange lines. So still, we haven't reached overbought levels, and we're still the trend is moving in an upward direction. And yeah, it's looking very bullish. Last, I'm going to talk about the forecast tool, which combines all these different top and bottom prediction tools, indicators, and that basically gives you a visual graph of basically where the possible potential tops and bottoms of this cycle could be, right? So if you just look at the past, we tend to peak when the red line, when the price of Bitcoin hits the red or purple or blue lines, and we're nowhere near that. We're like in the middle, right? Very similar to what we saw in late 2016, early 2017. So basically all these indicators I just went through, they're basically saying that the price of Bitcoin right now is very bullish, at least in the longer time frame. Yeah, in the short term, we're coming down to retest this level, but I think that ultimately we will hold this Fibonacci support level, right? Because we're coming down to not only the Fibonacci support level, but also this 200-day moving average, which is historically a strong and important moving average. So we're just, in my opinion, consolidating. And in my previous video, I said that if we can hold this Fibonacci level, I think we're just going to rip up higher. But we didn't hold that level. So I think the alternative, the second, which is what I believe I've been talking about in the last videos, is that we're probably going to see something similar to what we saw last year, which we went sideways for a while after an impulse move higher. And that's probably something we're going to see similar. Impulse move higher, consolidate, and try to break above this strong 70,000 resistance. Just like last year, we tried to break above this strong 30,000 resistance, right? I think ultimately we're going to do it. It's probably going to happen sometime by the end of summer, either late summer or early fall, in my opinion, based on what we're seeing so far. But ultimately, long-term bullish. I'm using this opportunity to accumulate more position, especially in my mining stocks. I don't want to give recommendations, but you can see here I already have some, Riot. I have other mining stocks. Also have some MicroStrategy. Been buying some on the dip here. But yeah, that's just my own opinion. Again, not financial advice. You gotta do your own due diligence, make your own decisions financially. But just for me, I am buying this dip. I do think that Fibonacci level is going to hold, and 60,000 is going to be strong support. And yeah, I'm very optimistic going forward, and I do think that eventually rates, CPI will come down enough where the Fed will start to cut rates, and that'd be a huge tailwind for not only the stock market but for the cryptocurrency market. So that's the video for today. I do again expect this to consolidate for a while. Now that we are unable to hold 70,000, of course I can be invalidated if we just rip up to 70,000. But I think more realistically, we're just gonna spend some time here until it's probably around late August, early September, right? Just like we had last year, we basically consolidated for around 6 months. So this time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months around late August, early September, we just move sideways before building a base. So see this sideways, maybe come like that, and then ripping up higher, right? But again, we always want to adjust our expectations based on how the price action develops going forward. And I'll definitely update you at the end of July, and we'll see how the CPI report and how the price action develops to see where I believe the month of August and September and beyond will play out. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, useful, and informative, please like this video, leave a comment below, and subscribe for updates. Appreciate all your support. Thank you again, and have a great day.